All right, welcome to sequences. Sequences, patterns of numbers that we're going to be looking at. These are types of things that you're going to be looking at for quite a while now. We're going to take a look at sequences. We're going to find patterns in the numbers. We're going to find next terms. We're going to build tables. We're going to make graphs. We're going to write equations. So we have quite a bit to do with this. We're going to take a look once we reach the equation work, and we're going to relate that to our work in further on when we get to things called slope and slope-intercept form. But it all starts with sequences. I'll need you to take some notes as you watch this video, so please make sure that you pause the video anytime you need to write down the material and then press play again. Please remember that anytime that you're working on your assignment, you can go back to this video or you can refer back to your notes to help you with the assignment. First of all, what is a sequence? Well, a sequence is just a list of numbers written in a specific order. So a sequence like this. This is a sequence 3, 4, 5, 6. Another sequence 5, 10, 20, 40. And a third sequence 4, 3, 5, 4, 6, 5, 7, and so on. All three of these have a list. It's a list of numbers written in a specific order, and they do have a pattern as to how they're created. We'll take a look back at these patterns in just a little bit. Anytime you're working with a sequence, each number is called a term. Each number in a sequence is called a term. So to take a look at how that works, here's another sequence. -10, -9, -7, -4, 0, and so on. Well, here's how this works with what we call terms. I can say here are my term. I have a term. I'll put the word term here. All right. So -10, that's term 1. -9, that's term 2. -7, term 3. -4 is term 4. 0 is term 5. And if I was to continue on, I'd say term 6, term 7, term 8. We want to know exactly which term number we're looking for sometimes. So we number them 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and so on. All right. Once we know what a sequence is, we know how to label our term numbers, we can say, all right, let's find the next 3 terms of a sequence. So we're going to go back to one of those sequences I showed you just a minute ago. 3, 4, 5, 6, and we need to find the next 3 terms. Now, I think you, just by looking at it, you should be able to tell me what those terms are, but I'm using this sequence to show you how we find terms. If you look from 3 to 4, how do we get from 3 to 4? Well, I add 1. How do I get from 4 to 5? I also add 1. How do I get from 5 to 6? I add 1. All right, well, it looks like I have a nice pattern here of adding 1. So that means I will be then, to get from 6 to the next term, I will add 1. So 6 plus 1 is 7. And I will continue my pattern of adding 1. 8. 8 plus 1, 9. So now I've used the pattern I found in the first terms of the sequence, and then I've continued that pattern to write the next 3 terms. This one has a nice pattern of adding 1. Some sequences will have a pattern of addition. Some will have a pattern of subtraction. Well, here's another one. It doesn't use addition and it doesn't use subtraction. We could look at it and say, well, it kind of looks like it does add. We have plus 5 from 5 to 10, plus 5. And then we have plus 10. Then we have plus 20. And some of you might be able to see a pattern from that. It looks like I'm always adding the last number that was there in the pattern. Well, could use it that way, but let me show you another way here. I'm going to erase those numbers I've just written, and I will show you another pattern that's available to us here. What's another way besides adding 5 to get to 10? That's right, it's timesing by 2. 5 times 2 is 10. Well, 10 times 2, that's 20. And 20 times 2, that's 40. So now I have a multiplication pattern. 40 times 2, That's 80. And 80 times 2 is 160. And 160 times 2, that is 320. Sorry about the bad 3. That's a really bad one. All right. So 320. So we can have an addition type pattern, we can have a multiplication type pattern, and the crazy thing about sequences is that sometimes they don't even have a nice pattern like that. It's called that because it has a specific order. Let's look at this one. 4, 3, 5, 4, 6, 5, 7, blank, blank, blank. Okay, let's see. 4 to 3 is actually not addition, it's subtraction. It's minus 1. 3 to 5, plus 2. 5 to 4, minus 1. 4 to 6, plus 2. 6 to 5, minus 1. 5 to 7, plus 2. So what kind of a pattern do we have here? We have a minus 1 plus 2, minus 1 plus 2, minus 1 plus 2. So if I consider that, and I go and continue this on my pattern, I have to now go minus 1. So 7 minus 1 is 6. And then now I alternate. Instead of minus 1, I will say plus 2. 6 plus 2 is 8. Minus 1 again. Okay, minus 1 is 7. So a sequence can have an alternating pattern like this. That's always a possibility too. All right. To show you another type of pattern that might be a different type of sequence, not all adding, not all multiplication. Let's look at this one back up here where I had the term numbers. So if you have 10 to negative 9, that's minus 1. Negative 9 to negative 7, that's minus 2. Negative 7 to minus 4, negative 3. Negative 4, oops, I'm sorry, my apologies. Whoa, that's really bad. It's not minus 1. What is it? It's plus 1. Negative 9 plus 2 is negative 7. Negative 7 plus 3, negative 4. Negative 4 plus 4 is 0. So then my next term, what would it be? That's right, it would be plus 5, and so on. So now the amount being added into each one of these is always increasing by 1. You can have patterns like that with sequences. Many different ways to do those patterns. Now, as you want, when you get back to class or when you're done watching this video, bring me your notes so I can see how you wrote them down. Ask me any questions if you have them, please. I will be happy to give you your assignment that you'll be working on for this. This assignment, the name is called Discovering Math Patterns, and it's a worksheet that you have to get from me. It has 10 problems on it. You can pick it up from me. You can also print it off Skyward. It'll be available to you on Skyward. Remember, if you do print it off Skyward, you need to click on Q2 in your gradebook. Click on the title Sequences. Then click on the blue link, Discover Math Patterns, and you can print that off at home if you'd like, or you can print it off here in school to have your own copy. Thank you for watching the video. Be sure to bring me your notes, and let's get to work on sequences.